You walk into the room. You spot her across the coffee shop. You rehearsed your line in the car. But the second you make eye contact, that familiar tightness grips your chest. You suddenly realize you are trying way too hard to be perceived as cool. Am I doing this right? Does she see right through me? Why do I always freeze up? Am I just not enough? The attraction didn't fail because you aren't good enough. It failed because you were broadcasting that you didn't feel safe in your own skin. You're not failing at dating, man. This isn't a sign you're unlovable. Every single guy who has ever wanted to connect has stood exactly where you're standing, bro. By the end of this video, you'll understand the exact subtle signals she's reading before you even say hello, and how to naturally project the kind of presence that makes her feel instantly drawn to you. Let's get into it. Most couples believe that initial attraction is about having the perfect resume, the right jokes, or looking a certain way. But the real truth is her nervous system is reading your emotional state before a conscious mind can even process your words. Not louder conversations, not more compromising, not scheduling a weekly check-in, but two people who actually feel safe enough to be honest with each other for the first time in years. When a guy walks in trying to prove his value, his nervous system is in a subtle state of threat. She feels that performance. When safety leaves the interaction, the connection doesn't disappear. It goes underground. What looks like confidence is often just a shield. But here's what nobody explains. True attraction happens when your nervous system is regulated. It is not about changing your personality. It is about breaking the anxious avoidance cycle of early dating. If you are overperforming, she withdraws. If you can just be, she turns toward you. Let's talk about the performance trap. Most people in relationships, especially in the early stages, think they need to project alpha energy or have a flawless conversation script. Beneath the surface, her nervous system is reading you before her mind can catch up. She feels the unspoken tension of you trying to be someone else. When safety leaves a relationship, the love doesn't disappear. It goes underground. She can sense when you are performing instead of just being present. Here's the part no one talks about. The disconnecting version sounds like an interview. You ask, so, what do you do for work? Where did you go to college? You are collecting data, not building connection. The connecting version sounds like this. You lean back, soften your shoulders, and say, I'm actually really glad we're just sitting here talking. And when you do that, something in her is saying, he doesn't need me to perform, he just wants me to be. And when you do that, the walls between you start to come down without either of you having to say a word. Next is the waiter test of emotional availability. Most couples think she is only watching how you treat her when you are trying to impress her. But her nervous system is like a smoke detector. It cannot tell the difference between how you treat a barista and actual danger, so it sounds the alarm regardless. She is checking if your kindness is conditional. If you are only nice when you want something, her patterns will flag you as emotionally unavailable, and this is the one most couples never figure out. The disconnecting version is ignoring the server or snapping when the coffee is cold. The connecting version is making eye contact, smiling, and saying, take your time, I'm in no rush. And when you do that, what's moving through her is, I forgot how good it feels to be chosen by someone genuinely kind. That's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. Then there is the micro-frustration response. Most people in relationships think a flat tire, a delayed reservation, or a spilled drink is just a random inconvenience. But here's what changes everything. Emotional distance in a relationship isn't like a wall. It's like scar tissue that forms slowly over 100 small moments that never got repaired. How you handle a minor trigger shows her if you are a safe harbor or a storm. Her nervous system is watching to see if you will drift into withdrawal or stay emotionally available. This is where it gets really interesting. The disconnecting version is sighing heavily, checking your phone and saying, great, now we're going to be late. The connecting version is laughing softly, looking her in the eyes, and saying, well, looks like we get 20 more minutes to just hang out. That's the shift that turns a relationship that feels like a negotiation into one that feels like a refuge. Consider the comfortable silence metric. Most couples rush to fill the quiet because they think silence means the connection is failing. But what looks like stonewalling or awkwardness is usually someone who has been so overwhelmed for so long that silence is the only protection they have left. When you rush to fill the void, you signal that you can't handle her real presence. Intimacy isn't built in the big moments. It's built in the 30-second ones, when you choose to look up and just be with her. This isn't a communication hack. This is just what two emotionally mature people naturally do. Here's the part no one talks about. The disconnecting version is nervously rambling about your weekend plans because the quiet feels heavy. The connecting version is letting the conversation naturally pause, holding her gaze, and just smiling softly. And when you do that, her brain is quietly registering, he actually heard me this time. And when you do that, she realizes you are a safe place to land, not just another guy passing through. Finally, we have the ghost of baggage. Most people in relationships think being vulnerable means dumping all their past trauma and ex-drama on the first date. But here's what nobody explains. It is not about hiding your past. It is about whether you have actually repaired the cycles. If you are still reacting to your ex, she feels that you are not emotionally available. She feels the she feels, he feels. They feel dynamic of a triangle instead of a duo. Not a communication hack, not a psychological trick, not a manipulative tactic, but the natural byproduct of a man who has done the work to become emotionally whole. This is where it gets really interesting. The disconnecting version is saying, my ex was completely crazy, she ruined my life. The connecting version is taking a breath and saying, we just wanted different things, and I learned a lot about myself. And when you do that, the unspoken longing between you turns into a real lasting connection. This isn't a checklist. It's an invitation to show up differently. That changes everything about what's possible between you and the person you chose. When you internalize this, you stop reacting and start responding. Your partner will feel the difference before you've even said a word. These aren't tips for a better relationship. They're the beginning of becoming the kind of partner you always wanted someone to be for you. Real intimacy doesn't start when you find the right person. It starts when you decide to become one.